Hey guys, Sak here from sakitech, and in today's video we are going to be talking about the Samsung Galaxy S25 FE. We're going to be unboxing it, and I'm going to give you guys my first impressions and an initial review of this product. So as you know, the FE series are based on the flagship S25 series. It's got a lot of flagship features, but then there's a few compromises so the price can be reduced. We also want to compare the S25 FE to the S25 Plus or the S25. Remember, these are the flagship models. This is a semi-flagship with some compromises, but still a great package for some people. We will look at the details. And in this case, this guy is $650 for the 128 gigabyte model, and you do have an option to get 4 different colors. Let's unbox it, see what's inside and what's going on with the overall device. So to unbox, I'm just going to lift this up. I'm going to put it right over here. So here it is. This is the navy color. It's like a blue color and it's a pretty nice color. So I'm going to lift this up really quickly and let me just have you see the reflection so you can see the color properly. Nice matte color. I'm going to put this to the side. We have nothing over here. Inside here we have another box. In that box we have an ejector tool for the SIM card tray. We have the USB Type-C cable. And of course, we have a quick start guide. So that's what you get in the box. Very similar to the S25 or the S25 Plus. Now, let's divert our attention to the main dish, which is this guy right over here, and get the details. All right, so here we have it. Without a question, it is a gorgeous smartphone. Let's quickly talk about the build quality. So the build quality, we have Gorilla Glass Victus Plus. That's for the front display and the rear. And of course, we have an armor aluminum frame around the edges. As you can see, again, beautiful, clean, matte finish. If you look around the device at the bottom, we have the USB Type-C port. We have the SIM card tray, and we have a speaker grill. And then on this side, we have nothing, just nice and clean aluminum. On the top, we have 2 microphones. And on this side, we have the volume rocker and the power button. And let's take a look at the cameras really quickly, get the specs on that. Now, when it comes to the cameras, we do have a 50 megapixel main camera, the same as we find on the S25 series, the standard series. We also have a 12 megapixel ultra wide, again, same as the S25 series. And then we have a telephoto camera, which is actually 8 megapixels with 3x optical zoom, which is slightly lower on the S25 and the S25 Plus. You have a 10 megapixel 5x optical. So the wide and the ultra wide are the same, but the telephoto has a slight downgrade. Of course, you can see that we have a little flash right on the side on the right of the cameras. Now here's an S25 Plus, and that's the S25 FE. You can see the camera rings are also going to look slightly different. This is the new style. This is kind of the old style. So that's also one difference. And you can see around the edges of the products, this one has the aluminum coloring, but this is a body matched color on this side. So that's one difference with the design. And like we said, this is Gorilla Glass Victus 2. And this is Victus Plus, 1 generation behind. All right, so let's fire this thing up and look at all the other details. All right, so here we have it in the main home screen. You can see right away we have that new wallpaper for the S25 FE. I do like this wallpaper. I do want to quickly mention the camera on the front is 12 megapixels, just like the S25, S25 Plus. And also one thing I'm going to have you guys notice is if you look at the bezels, you can see at the bottom, the chin bezel is a little bit thicker, so we don't have the even bezels that you get on the S25 Plus. Here's the S25 Plus right next to it. You can see the screen size is almost the same. The side bezels are very similar, but we have a little thickness at the chin bezel, which is not a huge deal. I think it looks amazing. Now, one more thing I want to show you guys. Let's talk about the display specs really quickly. So that's very important. We have some upgrades to the display. We do have a peak brightness of 1900 nits, which is not as high as the 2600 nits you get on the S25 Plus, but you can see it's actually very easy to see this in daytime conditions. That screen, the 1900 nits, was a flagship spec just a few years ago. So highly bright display, and a couple other things I want you guys to see in comparison to the S25 Plus or the S25 is, if I go to motion smoothness, they both have 120 Hz display refresh rate, but this one goes from 60 to 120. This can go from 1 to 120, so the display on this one is going to be a little bit more efficient. Another thing, the display resolution on the S25 Plus, let's go over here to the screen resolution. You can see we have QHD Plus available. On this one, we don't have that availability. We don't even have the option. It is actually a full high definition plus display. Like we said, there's going to be some compromises to bring that price down, but regardless, this is a very bright and very sharp display that's going to satisfy most people. But again, if you pay the premium, that's $1,000, you get a slightly better refresh rate and the QHD Plus resolution. But like we said, the display size is basically the same at 6.7 inches, which is fantastic. Let's quickly test the fingerprint sensor. So it does have an optical fingerprint sensor built into the display. So I'm going to go outside. I just set my fingers up a couple seconds ago. So I'm going to go outside to the lock screen, double tap to wake it up. Here it is. Press, and it's inside. So again, it's an optical fingerprint sensor. It's not an ultrasonic like the S25 Plus, but it works very well, as you can see. Okay, so that's quite fast and snappy. Now we do have some great news on the battery. With the battery, it's the same size as the S25 Plus. It's a 4,900 milliamp hours battery. On top of that, if I go down over here to my charging settings, you can see we have fast charging and fast wireless charging. So that is 45 watt fast charging with the wires, same as the S25 Plus. And you can see we also have reverse wireless charging. Fantastic. Now one more thing that's great news is we have One UI 8.0 out of the box with the S25 FE, which is fantastic. Even the S25s still haven't gotten the official version. So if I go to my About Phone, software information, you can see One UI version 8, Android 16. So you get all the latest software information. I want to quickly show you guys this new wallpaper. If I tap over here, and if I go to the wallpaper, you can see this is the new wallpaper for the S25 FE, and it's got these variations. So I do like the fact that we have all these variations for these wallpapers. Very nice idea. And I like the fact that they have included something bright like this one. And of course, you're going to get your 7 years of OS and security updates as well. Next up, I want to talk about the performance. The S25 FE has the Exynos 2400 processor. The S25 Plus has the Snapdragon 8 Elite processor. So it's going to be a little bit faster, but this guy is not slow by any means. So let me show you the benchmarks as a comparison. Here's the Geekbench on the Snapdragon Elite, and here's the Geekbench on the Exynos 2400. You can see it's very fast, but not quite as fast as the S25 Plus. But again, that is one of the compromises to reduce the price. But to give you guys an idea, this is equal to something like the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 processor from a few years ago. It's still going to be super smooth, lag-free experience, okay? Beyond that, if I go to my settings, and if I go over to my device care, we do have 8 gigabytes of RAM standard on the FE. You don't have an option to go to 12. It's going to be 8 gigabytes. And of course, you can get storage at 128 gigabytes or 256 gigabytes. Those are the two options, and the 128 starts at $650. But right now, even the 256 gigabyte model is $650 as well. The links to that is going to be down below if you want to buy one of these guys. But yeah, the performance is right for the price. And like I said, it's going to be lag-free, stutter-free, super fast performance for most people. Now when it comes to AI features, we have the full stack of AI features. We have the Galaxy AI menu, and inside you can see they're all here. Call assist, note assist, transcript assist, browsing assist, photo assist. We also have the now brief. So photo ambient wallpaper, drawing assist, everything is included with the S25 FE. So you get the access to the latest Galaxy features, including press and hold, and you get access to Gemini, as you can see. So Gemini is built in, all Galaxy AI features included. And of course, we have the Now Brief, which has been a popular feature for most people. So Now Brief gives you a quick briefing of your day based on your needs, and it is customizable. So if I scroll down, we have weather information, and I can customize and add additional features from this menu right here, from content to include. So that is the Now Brief also included. Now I do want to mention that we also have dual stereo speakers. So if I go to my sounds and vibration, and if I go to my sound quality and effects, we have Dolby Atmos, as you can see, which is a surround sound experience, and we have stereo speakers. So this thing is going to sound amazing. I was actually surprised by how good the speakers are. So great multimedia device. Additionally, I want to mention it is IP68 water resistant, just like its flagship brothers. Alright, so we have covered everything. So here's my initial take on this product. The S25 FE is a semi-flagship that gives you a taste of the S25 series without breaking the bank, though it does come with a few compromises. At $650, you're getting a large 6.7-inch display, 120Hz display, stereo speakers, a capable triple camera system, full Galaxy AI features, and a solid 4,900 mAh battery with fast charging. It also offers 7 years of updates, IP68 water resistance, and ships with One UI 8 right out of the box. But then we have the trade-offs. The Exynos 2400 chip is fast, but it's not on par with the Snapdragon 8 Elite. You only get 8 GB of RAM, and the display resolution and brightness aren't quite as impressive as the S25 Plus. These are the areas where Samsung cut back to lower the price. So overall, when you compare it to the S25 Plus, it is $350 cheaper. That makes it a smart choice if you want the S series experience at a lower price. Now, if you're a geek, you love specs, the S25 Plus is the better pick. But for most people, the S25 FE is a well-balanced package. A great way to stay in the Samsung ecosystem and get a taste of flagship greatness without paying the full price. But that's about it. If you are interested, I've dropped the links down below to get these products at the lowest pricing down below. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Drop them down below as well.